I'm joined now by the current head of FEMA, Deanne Criswell. Madam Administrator, it's great to have you. First, I just want to give you an opportunity to tell us what you think people need to know about how FEMA is preparing and prepared to deal with Hurricane Milton.
Yeah, Chris, I just landed on the ground here in Tallahassee, and I'm at the State Emergency Operations Center. I just got a very quick update from my team. I think the biggest thing that I learned is we had last night over 30,000 people that were being reported in shelters, and they expect that number to be even higher, maybe close to 50,000 in shelters tonight, which means people listened. People listened to the warnings and they evacuated, and so that's really good news. But we know that Hurricane Milton just made landfall, and even though it shifted a little bit, many of these communities that were preparing for the worst still aren't out of the woods. And so the time to evacuate is probably gone for the majority of Florida right now. So you need to make sure that you're continuing to listen to your local officials and doing everything you can to protect yourself and your family. Maybe charge some of those phones up right now so you can continue to have communication if and when the power does go out. But again, doing what you can to stay safe until this storm passes.
I want to just put up a tweet from the official account of FEMA talking about the responders you have on the ground, 1,000 supporting folks in Florida, 1,400 search and rescue personnel, incident management teams, ambulances, helicopters, high water vehicles. Tell me how things are going in Western North Carolina, which I think has been sort of off the charts in terms of the combination of the scale of destruction, the amount of water those places took, and the terrain making it difficult to just get to people with roads utterly washed out.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, what we saw in Western North Carolina is very different than what we see here along the coast of Florida. You know, when you look at the coast of Florida, you can anticipate where the storm surge is going to be and really have a good idea of where the destruction is going to be. When you look at Appalachia, we're talking about how much rain is falling, the rate of the rainfall, and exactly where it falls. You know, in those valleys, in those hollers can create those deadly immediate flash floods where people have little warning. And that's, you know, the worst case scenario that we saw move across Western North Carolina almost 2 weeks ago now. And so it washed out roads, it took out communications, it washed out and damaged the water infrastructure, took down power. But I was able to meet with the governor again today. I've been with him most days, and he gave an update today, and there's progress, a lot of progress. Most communities have good access. Some still have limited access, which means a footbridge or ATVs. But the power's being restored, water's being restored. But there's definitely areas that have had the most impact, that it's still going to take some time before we get those critical lifelines, those critical pieces of infrastructure back up and running.
On the FEMA website, there's a hurricane rumor response, and it talks about some of the rumors that circulate. One of them that the governor's own press spokesperson tried to push back on, rumor FEMA's blockading people in Florida, preventing evacuations. This is false. How much does the information environment matter for the kind of work you do in emergency response?
Well, it matters tremendously, right? Because they're deliberately trying to create distrust. And when you create that level of distrust, it just makes it harder to get the services and the support that these people that have either are going to experience, like we're seeing with Milton, or have experienced across all of the other states from Hurricane Helene, makes it harder for them to get the resources that they need and they deserve. And so we have to make sure that we are using trusted messengers within the community to try to combat this information. And so they don't feel like they can't reach out to their government agencies, whether it's FEMA, whether it's state or local, that they are getting into the system and we can help them. But it's also demoralizing for our own staff who have left their own families to come here and do what they know that they need to do. And that's to help the people that have been impacted by these storms.
Final question for you, an important one quickly. Do you have the resources? Is there the line item budget in the account that FEMA draws from to do what you need to do in the aftermath of Milton on the heels of Helene?
There is the money in my budget, the Disaster Relief Fund, to continue the response efforts for Hurricane Helene and Milton. But we're going to have to assess how much it's going to put a drain on that to determine how much of my recovery projects I can continue to do across the nation. So I always have enough left to be able to respond to another storm, because we're not out of hurricane season yet.
All right, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, thank you on a very, very busy night for taking some time with us. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Good luck tonight. I'm joined now by NBC News correspondent Sam Brock, live from Fort Myers, Florida. Sam, how are things looking there?
Sure. So you hear Fort Myers, Chris, so no doubt people immediately go back to Hurricane Ian a couple of years ago and the utter devastation that was inflicted there. Fort Myers proper, where we are, which is right near the Caloosahatchee River over my shoulder, it's about 10 miles away from the Barrier Islands that are just sitting out there, jutting out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, Chris. And truly, when you talk about the most vulnerable residents in all this, that's who we're talking about. Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel Island, Pine Island. If that sounds very familiar, that's because those were the towns that were literally cut off a couple of years ago. And so it's with that in mind that officials here have been evacuating folks in Lee County, where I am right now. There's 800,000 people in this county. For context, 416,000 of them under mandatory evacuation. From all appearances, Chris, a lot of folks were heeding the warning, because we do know that Lee County officials said earlier today they went from 1,600 people in shelters all the way up to almost 7,000 by this afternoon. So you can only hope that many people that were in harm's way have moved out of it. A couple of notes right now. It's been tropical storm force winds for a period of time. Has died down a little bit, but about a half dozen or so local governments recently confirmed in the last hour and a half, they are no longer sending emergency responders to rescue people because the sustained winds where they are, and I'm talking about places like Sarasota, where the eye wall appears to be going over right now, and Charlotte County and Manatee County, the city of Sarasota, we mentioned Pinellas County, all of them tell us they're not doing that anymore because they've reached the 45-mile-an-hour wind threshold. Something for folks to keep in mind, but also the storm surge. I mean, Naples right now is in a major flood stage, according to our weather experts, our weather unit. They say it's approaching 5 feet of storm surge there, and high tide tomorrow, Chris, is at like 8 o'clock in the morning, right? So we're only just starting to get there. Fort Myers Beach as well, there's some images coming in showing that water rising near Times Square, which was sort of the heartbeat of the area that just got absolutely decimated. You could see the water starting to reach the businesses that are coastal that were literally just rebuilt, right? And so many of these people as well, residents, just a couple of weeks ago, because of Hurricane Helene, had to go through 6 feet of storm surge, which is less than the projection here, 8 to 12, and found themselves in a scenario where water was still flooding their homes, sewage was getting in their houses. Some of them saying we're going to have to go through this process all over again. So I'm trying to keep that in the back of my mind. As we're also talking to first responders, we had the Charlotte County Sheriff on Top Story about 10 or 15 minutes ago, talking about how the fact that he's not aware of any search and rescues right now, but he has all these resources ready to go. We know that internet connectivity is going to be an issue. You're going to hear many, many reports of folks with missing loved ones, and they're going to try to pin that down in the days to come. But you just hope, when you hear about Governor DeSantis discussing 150 shelters across the state and the capacity for 200,000 people, my colleague Marissa Parra recently reporting there was about 100,000 or so that had actually filled up spots there, many of them tailored to people with special needs or pets. Maybe the state is really providing a comprehensive opportunity here and really sort of a new playbook, given what we've seen with Helene, to address crises like this, because make no mistake about it, a crisis is unfolding. I don't know what we're going to see tomorrow morning. Right now, not distraction on the ground where I am. It's been probably 30 or 40 mile an hour winds. And now actually, as I look over my shoulder for the first time, I'm seeing what appears to be a couple of feet of water in the street next to the parking garage where I am. This is new because that was not the case as of about 20 or 30 minutes ago. So the storm surge I was just describing is starting to make its way in, and I would not be surprised, Chris, if you're looking at a scenario tomorrow where there are feet of storm surge in the early morning hours. But we're going to definitely keep you updated on that as the situation continues to develop.